There's nothing about Stephen A. Smith that feels presidential. And at times he feels like a mini version of the sitting president in that he has a lot of ego. And so I think if you give somebody like Stephen A. Smith that amount of power, there's no telling what he would be willing to do.
So, Rodney, your favorite person on the planet, Stephen A. Smith, has come out and said why he would and would not run for president of the United States. He says that he would run because the country sucks. We can get into it in just a second, but I do want to read the quote from him. So he says, "I think the country is devoid of leadership, the kind of leadership we have, we don't need. The kind of leadership we should be getting, nobody is stepping up and doing." Did you see this, and what were your immediate thoughts?
I saw sound bites and clips from it. I tried to the best of my ability to duck dumb on the internet. And this is one of those things that for sure registers as dumb to my brain. There's nothing about Stephen A. Smith that feels presidential, right? Like if I just go back before our current administration and think about what it meant to hold that office, the kind of decorum and the kind of just general disposition that previous presidents have had, I don't feel like Stephen A. Smith is that. Throughout his entire tenure at ESPN, he's had some incredibly rocky moments. He's been misaligned with, I think, the general direction of goodness for not just Black people, but marginalized people in general. He's been inflammatory towards women. And at times he feels like a mini version of the sitting president in that he has a lot of ego. And so I think if you give somebody like Stephen A. Smith that amount of power, there's no telling what he would be willing to do. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, listen, he will be very similar to what we have right now. And that is the reason why we have people like Stephen A. Smith who can come out and say, "Oh, I think I could be president of the United States."
It's wild times.
It is very wild times. I think that we have to understand that, everything is not in your ministry. We need to stick what's in your ministry.
I agree.
Okay. This is what we do. We do this every day. We're not trying to go out and do someone else's job. You have thousands, millions of people every day watching sporting events thinking, I can go out and do that man or woman's job. And you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I think that social media has blown people's heads up to feel like they can do things that they are not qualified to do. Before, to be a president, you had to take a government class at least. You had to know how, the government ran. You had to know the branches of the government. You had to know about tariffs. You know what I'm saying? Those are basic things that you needed to know. You needed to know how to run a country. You needed to know how to be diplomatic when you're talking to other world leaders. You don't have to do that now.
I can't imagine, a foreign power, a Russia, a China, hell, even the European allies, which at this point, is tricky, welcoming Stephen A. Smith into an office and discussing foreign policy. Like, it's just like, why am I talking to this guy who averaged less than 1 point on his college basketball team, who has been marred in a number of just controversial statements? I don't know when government officials became, I do know. We've changed. Yeah, I do know. It actually didn't even start with our current president. It started with Arnold Schwarzenegger many years ago, as governor of California.
Ronald Reagan, hell,
Yeah, Ronald Reagan. But I just think this opens up the door, man, for some incredibly weird people to potentially become president. I've seen different names thrown out there as potential candidates down the line, from Kim Kardashian to The Rock. And I'm like, yo, Shorty is selling Skims. Like, what are we talking about? Like, she's somebody who should be a viable candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. Like, what are we talking about? Like, we really just here? This is really where we at? This is crazy.
And for Stephen A. Smith, he said that, for one, he wants to only be the president so that he could debate. That's what he wants to do. But two, he said that he wouldn't run because of the money. Now, we know that Stephen A. Smith signed a 5-year, $100 million deal with ESPN. And he says that is not enough money for him to run. So to kind of put to your point, obviously the people they're throwing their names out in the hat or whatever, isn't that how you say that? Throwing their names in the hat. Throwing their names in the hat, are people who are very wealthy. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Elon Musk or somebody trying to run
Well, I don't think he'd actually be eligible because I think he wasn't born here. But there's a name like Mark Cuban, right? Who had the
Oh, yeah.
like maybe that's somebody who is the hero, to kind of create some level of balance if we're gonna go popularity contest based on what people have financially. I just is it LeBron James? Is it Steph Curry? I don't know where we draw the line here, but I can't believe sometimes where we are and no, to try to keep it more sports and not so political. He works in the industry that was fired upon by a number of political pundits, and telling basketball players to shut up and dribble. And I just can't even see like middle America and some of the regions that he would have to win really giving him enough love or credence to win their vote. Like at the end of the day, bro, you are a black man from New York who has a hard time pronouncing words with the letter R. So I just don't think that he's going to come across as a viable candidate for somebody in Wisconsin.
But I do feel like some of his stances and some of the things that he has said, he will get some votes, though, because of the wow factor of his comments,
The
because
funny factor.
he's a frequent pundit on Fox News and other right-leaning publications.
You're not wrong.
I feel like he will get some votes. And we've seen this sports to politician pipeline. We've talked about that before on this platform. It seems as though people are doing that, whether they are, somebody that is an analyst or somebody that is a talking head on a sports network. Paul Feinbaum is trying to get into politics. Bruce Pearl, Tommy Tuberville, those are coaches at the end. It just seems like, I don't know what it is with the sports to politician.
Well, I mean, there's two industries that have always been considered unifiers of Earth, and that's sports and music. And so, like, if you have a stronghold in any area in sports, then I mean, it does kind of give you some legitimacy as, at the very least, a regular in people's vantage point. Like, people see you, they become familiar with you, and so familiarity more than anything, I think, helps people become more endeared to those, just by virtue of being seen and having been seen. There's a comfort factor. So yeah, I mean, but him winning votes actually probably does more harm than good. I also can't imagine Stephen A. Smith on a debate stage going up against some people who, maybe they're government officials, but they aren't well versed in the art of arguing and debating.
It doesn't matter.
It does, though. Like, if you have the ability to make somebody look bad on a stage, that does have the ability
you're
to
saying
change.
That Stephen A. would make people look bad?
Yeah, I think he has the ability because he debates like he's a good debater, right? Like, he knows how to say ancillary things emphatically to make them feel like they're larger than what they actually are. And so, like, let's just say hypothetically, like, you had Stephen A. Smith a year and a half ago debating against Joe Biden. That wouldn't look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would run circles around Joe Biden. So it'd be interesting to see, how much damage he could do to, he said he would run as a Democrat. It'd be interesting to see how much damage he could do to Democratic candidates. Yeah, he said he would run as a Democrat. But he's he did. Because he did. He's what did he say? He's a social liberalist, but he's fiscally, what's the word? He's fiscally conservative. Yeah. So he said he would run as a Democrat. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought Republican for him, but
no, it's the same thing. I mean, it's like you go where the opportunities are, and there is no front runner for the Democratic candidacy right now, other than our governor out here. And I just and people have reservations about him because of the state of California. So Stephen A. does have a chance to get under the skin of some people and maybe, I don't know.
I'm scared.
I'm ready.
I'm scared.
Tricky times, Samaria. Why don't you run for president? You need a president white tee. In my white tee. Hey, in my white.
I'm sorry that my co-host had us up. The sun ain't even out for real over here.
Thank you so much for accommodating me. Listen, I was at All-Star Weekend. As you can tell by my attire, this jacket right here is the very same merch that the All-Stars were wearing before the game tipped off. All-Star Weekend was absolutely fire. There's a lot of money to be made, a lot of activities. But what I will say is that I am done shaking you Negroes' hand because one of y'all got me sick. Probably several of y'all got me sick with all these daps. We be dapping up too much in the black community. No more dap. Let's have a a one dap a weekend limit, and then maybe we don't even touch palms. Maybe we bump elbows. Like those of us who work, who use our voice, who cannot afford to be sick, we need to just stop dapping people up and just hit people with the hand. What's up, my boy? All right.
Why do you have to touch it all? I feel like women, it's like, oh my God, hey.
Y'all be going in for that. That's just you and them basketball wives and all you frilly Sunday picnic. That's what y'all be doing in your community, your crew.
No. Anyways.
Yeah, I'll take us up out of here. Hey, listen, man, let us know y'all thoughts on Stephen A. Smith potentially running for the president of the United States. Do you think he has a chance to actually steal some votes and potentially become the next president of the United States of America? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
And please click the link in our description box. We are keeping you up to date on all of the things happening in sports. Go over there and do that right now. Thank you.